Hey guys, today we're going to talk about Canva. Canva.com is a website and also an app that you can use to create graphics for all sorts of things. So if you need to create graphics for your business and you're really intimidated by software like Photoshop or Illustrator, don't worry because Canva has got you covered. Canva is really great because it has a ton of different templates for all different sorts of things. So YouTube channel art, Facebook covers, Instagram posts, even resumes, infographics, just anything, flyers, posters, business cards, you name it. There is a template for it, which is really nice because one, you don't have to know the dimensions of any given piece of artwork or graphic in order to be able to create it. And also because it comes with a ton of pre-made designs that you can edit to make your own if you are not kind of design inclined or inspired. So I recommend Canva to everyone on my team and the people that I work with. For those reasons, it's very duplicatable and you can share your artwork, your different templates with other people, which is awesome if you have an assistant or a team that you're sharing graphics with and you all want to be able to edit or make copies of each other's artwork. You don't have to share an account. You can just share the templates that you want to share. So let's go ahead and dive in. On my screen here, you see the inside of my Canva account. So you're just going to go to canva.com. You're going to use the little white form area to sign up for your own free Canva account. It is free. There are some paid elements in Canva if you want to purchase their stock photos or illustrations. I think that in the entire couple of years I've been using Canva, I've purchased one image or graphic because I really wanted a specific piece of art or background that I didn't have and I didn't want to purchase from a different stock photo site. But you don't have to purchase anything to use Canva. So when you first log in, your page is going to look kind of like this, except you're not going to have any artwork, but that's okay. The first thing that you would want to do is click this little create a design button. So we're going to go ahead and click that. And then it's going to have all of these different things here for you. So you can scroll through and see all your different options. You can do social media posts, Twitter posts, graphics. This is, the recommended sizes for those posts. Infographics, CD covers, presentations, just US letterhead size, 8.5 by 11, posters, menus, gift certificates, business cards. I mean, if there's something that you need to make a piece of art for, it is in here. There are Facebook ad shaped or sized templates, Etsy shop icons, Facebook covers, LinkedIn banners, you name it, it's in here. So I'm going to pick one and I'm going to kind of just create a random graphic set for you just to show you some of the tips and tricks that I have for using Canva. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a social media post. I'm going to click on this. Social media post. And when you click on one of these sets of artwork, then you're going to get a blank canvas that is in the size of that piece of artwork. So for the social media post, I think it's 800 by 800 pixels is the recommended size of your graphic. So you see your white blank canvas here. And then over on the left, you see all of their design templates that they have created for you, and you can scroll down. They're called Canva layouts, and you can either get ideas from here and still start from scratch, or you can pick one of them and then just edit it to make your own. So first, I'm going to show you how to start an image from scratch and the different elements that you can add, and then we'll go back after this and we will pick a Canva layout and we will edit it some so you can see how customizable it is. So I'm starting with a white blank background, and the first thing I want to do is add something to the background. I'm going to pick an image to be my background. So you see over here on your left-hand side, you have elements, text, background, and upload. So if you go to background, you can see that Canva has a big library full of free backgrounds that you can use if you want some sort of illustration background on your graphic. I don't use these as much because honestly, I just don't like most of them. There are paid backgrounds. You see here, they get into $1 and they may go up. I honestly never scroll down any farther because I don't want any of these $1 backgrounds. I typically would get my stock photos elsewhere if I was going to pay for them. But you have these options here. You'll see the price or you will see free, and you can click on it and it will populate as the background of your graphic. So maybe I do that and then I realize I don't really like that. All I have to do is click on it, and then I can either use the delete button on my keyboard or this little trash can icon right here, and it will delete it. So I think, okay, I don't really like that. I actually want an image. So I go under my uploads and you can see all of these images that I have uploaded to my account. You can pick any image. So if you are looking for free stock photos, I would recommend somewhere like unsplash.com. You don't always want to use free stock photos. There are lots of benefits of using paid stock photos, but you do have those options. So I'm just going to use an image that I've uploaded recently as my background. So I'm going to place it, and then you see it doesn't take the full width or dimensions of my background, so I need to stretch it out some. If you're familiar with Photoshop or another image editing or creating software, you know that you have to hold down Shift if you're on a PC or Command if you're on a Mac in order to keep the right proportion of an image when you're stretching it to be larger. But in Canva, you don't have to do that. You just click and drag the corners and it keeps the right proportion and just makes it as big as you would like. You also have this little tool right here. You can see at the bottom of the image that is your rotation tool. So you can rotate it if you would like to. We are going to keep this straight in line for this purpose. I'm just going to drag it so it takes up the full background of my layout here. So you can drag it all around until you get it where you want it. And now I want to add some text to my image. I don't really know what this image is for. This is just a random sample that I'm going to add a bunch of different things to show you what you can do. So I'm going to go here to text on the left. And then another nice thing about Canva is that they give you all of these different sort of title or header examples that you can use and make your own. So sometimes I just scroll through here and see what I like that might fit with what I'm trying to do. And then I will click on it. Instead of starting from scratch and just adding text and playing with the fonts, just use one of Canva's different little font layouts here and edit it to make it my own. So you see here that when I click on that, it populates it onto my screen here. And then all I have to do is click and drag it to where I would like it to be. Another nice feature about Canva is that you see this line pop up when I move this to here. That's showing me that this is completely aligned with the middle of the graphic. It doesn't have to be, but if I want it to be, it's a nice guide that it will kind of show you when you're right in the center. You don't have to guess. It also does that vertically. So if I were to scroll this down, you'll see another line pop up at some point. See there? Now you know that this is where you would place your text if you wanted it vertically and horizontally centered on your image. I don't. I just want it up here in the middle. Okay, so if you use these kind of pre-made text groupings or templates from Canva, you're going to find that the text is actually grouped together. It's two separate text elements and they're grouped together. You're also going to find when you're playing around in Canva that you can't format text within one text box to be different fonts and sizes and all these things. You need separate text boxes, which is why these are grouped together, because they want them to stay together and move around together and keep this spacing, but they have separate formats, so they're separate text boxes. So when I click on this, you see this button up here that says ungroup. You can click that, or on your keyboard, you can typically do Shift G, I think it is. Oops, I clicked in it. You can do Command Shift G, or it's on a PC, it would be Control Shift G. or you can just hit the ungroup button. Now you see that I have two separate text boxes that are ungrouped. So I can click on this one and move it away from that one. I'm going to kind of keep it right here, or I can click on this one up here and type in it. So I'm going to change the text because I don't really want it to say Charlie and Katie are engaged. I want it to say, oh, I'm clicking in the bottom one. That's one reason why you might sometimes want to move them away from each other, so it's easier to click into the right one. So I'm going to click into this top one. You just click and double click on it, and I'm going to have it say this is an example. And then in this other cute font, I'm going to double click and I'm going to say graphic. And then I'm going to take and drag this back up to where it's close to this one. And then I'm going to drag so that my mouse now has both text boxes. I don't know, I have trouble saying those together, twist my tongue up. So I have both of them selected, and then again you can hit Command G or Shift G if you are on a PC, or you can hit the group button and that groups them together. So now if I move it around, they stay together again. If I wanted to edit them again, I don't have to ungroup them. I can double click, but like I said, sometimes it's hard when the text boxes are this close together to get clicked into the right one. So you just ungroup them, move them away, move them back together, and group them back again if you have that trouble. You won't always, but that's a little trick if you do. So now I like this graphic, but maybe I want to add one more element to it. So I'm going to look here at elements, and you see over on your left under elements, there's all sorts of different options here. You have free photos. So that's a library full of free stock photos. You have grids. A grid would be a layout. I'm going to click on it so you can see. It's a layout basically for your graphic. So if I knew that I wanted to separate this graphic into 3 columns, I could place this, and ignoring everything behind it, I could show you here how I could place different things into different segments of this layout here, this grid. So if you want to grid out your graphic, then you can definitely do that using grids. I'm going to delete this entire grid because I don't actually want it there. That's just an example. I'm going to go back to elements. Now you know you have grids. You have frames, which are basically objects that you can put images or graphics inside of on top of your graphic. You have different shapes that you can add, lines that you can add, a library of illustrations. Some will be free, some will be paid, icons, charts, and then this little I love Canva section if you wanted to put something about Canva on your graphic, but I've never done that because it's a little bit unnecessary. So let's say that we want to add a frame and we want to add a picture to it. So I'm going to scroll down here, look at my different frame options, and I'm going to say that I want to add a frame. It's loading, so it's pushing everything down. I want to add a frame to put someone's picture in. Maybe they're a speaker at this imaginary event graphic I'm creating as an example here for you. So I'm just going to look for maybe something that is like rounded, and then I'm going to size it the way that I would like this frame to be sized, and then I'm going to put it maybe about right there, and then I'm going to go into my uploads and find the image of whoever this person might be, who I want to be speaking at my imaginary event here, and we will pick myself so I don't make anyone else feel weird. And now if I click it, it places this picture onto the page, but I'm going to click and drag it into my frame. Doesn't want to. Oh, I can't place this one because it's a cutout and it needs to fill the entire frame. So I'm going to pick a different image and drag it in, and you see it fills the entire frame. Now, say I picked this image, but I actually wanted this to be more of a close-up on the face of this person. I can double click And then again, you see this area here where I can make this a lot larger and drag it, and it will just stay within the frame. And I will drag it and make it even larger. And then make it so my face sticks into the box right here, however you would like to place it. Check. And this is a super random graphic now, even more random, but you can see the different things that you can do here in Canva. Now, say this is a series of graphics that I want to create, and most of them look alike, but they have small differences. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use this little button here to duplicate this graphic to a second page. So now it's duplicated, and I can say this is an example graphic number 2, but now I realize that my text doesn't fully fit in this area. It wraps down to the bottom, so I need to make my text box bigger. Now I could drag this, but in Canva, as you can see, it makes the font bigger if you drag. So I'm gonna have to ungroup, select my text box, and then you'll see you have this little circle pop up, and you can just make your text box a bit wider so it will fit your text without wrapping it. Now, in example graphic 2, I want to put someone else's face. So I'm going to put my sister's face, because she won't care if I make her feel weird. Okay, she might care, but now she has no choice. So you see it pops right into there, and that picture happens to be perfect for this little space, for this little frame here. So I don't need to stretch it at all. And there we go. This is just a slightly different graphic. Now I want to duplicate it again, because maybe things are changing. Maybe this is an event that happens every week, and this one is a little bit different, or I want to call different attention to it, so I want to change the background. I can simply click my background image, delete it, and then I can pick a different image, stretch it out here so it fills the background, move it around how I'd like to, and you see how it pops to the back there? Now maybe I say to myself, I would like it to appear in the front. I can click this arrange link here and click forward, and you see that it will, one element at a time, move to the top. But then I realized that I actually wanted these things to be in the front, so I just click back, and you can see that it moves it one element at a time to the back. So if you wanted to layer different items, for example, I can pull this image right here over this text, but then I can't read all of my text. So maybe I want this text to be on the top of all of my layers of images. So I'm just going to take this image and make it go backwards. So now the text lays on top of it. So that's another option that you have. Now, of course, these are awfully random looking graphics, but just so you can see all of the options, we wouldn't actually probably ever share a graphic that looked like that because it's totally random. But now I'm coming to my next one, and I'm realizing that I really need a more, a lighter background. So I'm going to select my background, and I'm going to use this transparency option here, and I'm just going to drag it, and that makes it just kind of fade out towards the background. And I'm going to take this frame of my sister's smiling face, and I'm going to put it right in the middle here with this text over the top, and I'm going to call this number 3. So as you can see, you can just keep duplicating. I think there finally is a limit. There's like a ton, not a ton, 20 some, maybe if I remember correctly, that you can duplicate over and over again within a one graphic set before it will tell you that you've kind of reached your limit there. So now that I'm here, there's a couple things that I want to do. First, I want to go to File and Save. It does save automatically, so you'll see here that it will say last saved a few seconds ago. So it does auto save, but I always want to make sure that I save. The next thing that I want to do is I want to change the title. If I picked any sort of template or any Canva layout, then it just gives it a random name. Like this one says engaged because I picked that font that set that said Katie and Charlie or whoever were engaged. But obviously that's not what I made this random graphic for, so I'm going to change the title to be random graphic for tutorial purposes. Now I want to do this for a couple reasons. I want to do this because when I download my graphics from this set, they are going to be named whatever I named them in Canva. I also want to do this because when I build this huge Canva library full of graphics that I've created, I need to be able to find what I'm looking for by name, so the name should apply to what the graphic actually is. Otherwise, I'm going to be scanning and searching with my eyes through tons of graphics, and I won't be able to actually search for anything by text. So you want to make sure you name it something. And then here, you can do a few different things. You can share. So if I click share, there's a few different options for share. I can invite people to view or edit this design. So maybe I want to send this to Heather, my sister and business partner, so that she can have access to edit this set of graphics as well for something that we do together. So I would put in her email address, and I would make sure that this does not say can view. It should say can edit, because I don't want her to just look at it and say, look how random this is. I want her to be able to edit it. And then I can click send invites. I can also use the social tab to share this graphic straight to social media from Canva. I wouldn't recommend doing that because you don't want your posts to come from Canva. You want them to come from you. Or I could get a link here. You can share a link to a Canva graphic with another Canva user, or I can embed using an embed code on a website. I've never used the embed because I would upload my image myself to my site. The tool that I use the most at this point would be download. So if I click download, you see you have some options here. Because this is a social media graphic, I would pick a PNG, which is the recommended format for the web. It gives you a bit higher quality than a JPEG does, but you do have the option to get a JPEG. Anything that you want to keep transparent with your background, I would pick PNG. Anything that you want to print, I would pick PDF for print. Or if you need a document, but you plan to just email it and not print it, you could pick PDF standard. So I'm gonna pick PNG and say for now, I've created 3 or 4 graphics, but I really only need the first one. I'm gonna take it off of all pages. I'm gonna put in number 1, and I'm gonna click download. It will always say hold tight, preparing your design. You'll see this bar come across, and then it will download your graphic or your image PDF straight to your computer. So you see it down here. I click on it, and then you can see that it gives me this image that I created on page 1 right here. So there's a preview of the image, super random graphic. Now I can close out this little pop-up, and I can say, actually, I want to send this whole set to someone, or I want to just go ahead and save the whole set off, and I can download all pages instead. And when you do this, the download process is going to look the same, but you're going to get a zipped folder with the name that you put in for Canva for this set, and then you can unzip the folder and save it onto your desktop. And then you have all your graphics there and available to you, but it's always going to be in the same name that you named your graphic in Canva. So perfect. You see my zip folder here. I'm done with this. So I can close out of this window, and I'm going to show you a couple other things. So now when I go to all your designs over here on the left menu, the graphic that I edited most recently is going to pop to the top left. So you're always going to see the last graphic you were working on right there on the top left. And you're always going to have everything else kind of bumped down below it. So if I were to say, oh, I wanted to make an update to this Pinterest pin that I made the other day, I'm going to open it. It always opens in a new tab for each new set of graphics. And then I'm going to quickly just do one quick little edit here. So you can see, I'm going to double click in my text. I'm just going to add a little star, and I'm going to save this and close this out. And then you can see that because I just edited this graphic, it is now going to be the one that pops to the top left because it's the one that I most recently edited. So that is, if you come in and you're trying to find something, think about the last time that you edited it, because that's when it's going to kind of appear in the order of your Canva. You can also use Control F and you can say, where did that random graphic for tutorial purposes go? And find it on your page that way once you have a huge library. Okay, so I've showed you how to create a graphic from scratch. I'm going to quickly show you how you can edit a template, and then we'll wrap it up here. So I'm going to click Create a Design, and then I'm just going to pick a template. I'm going to pick a Pinterest graphic. So if you're a blogger, then you know that for every blog post that you create, you want to have one or two, at least two probably different Pinterest graphics to pin your post with onto Pinterest. And Canva has a ton of good little layouts here that you can use for inspiration and then edit them to make your own. So I'm going to pick one that has a little bit of a graphic elements to it, so I can just show you how you can easily edit it to make it your own. So let's see, I'm going to go ahead and just pick this one. So when you click on the Canva layout, it will populate the entire thing onto your canvas, basically. But obviously, your graphic is probably not about exactly what it says. This is not going to be about an age-defying trick, ways to wash your face. Maybe mine is actually going to be about a smoothie bowl, for example. So I'm going to go into my uploads and I'm going to say, I like this circle in the middle, for example, but I want to change the background. I'm going to click, and all these little wavy paints, I'm just going to delete them because I really just wanted this circle in the middle with this fun font and the layout there. And I'm going to delete this background color, and I'm going to populate my own image with a smoothie bowl in it. That pops to the back, and then all I have to do is double click in here and change their text. And I'm going to say recipe, let's see, world's best smoothie bowl. And then underneath here, I'm going to change this text to my website address or whatever else I would want it to say. And now I realize that because the amount of text that I have versus the amount of text they had in their template is different. Now my text is not centered with this circle. So all I have to do, it's grouped together, is just drag it down a bit until I see that it's centered and the line shows up to tell me that it is. And I can say, well, this isn't quite as interesting as I would like it to be. So maybe I add another element. I'll add in a shape. And maybe I will just put some sort of rectangle here at the bottom to call out some sort of awesome keyword that's going to draw attention. And I'm going to pick a color that's going to make it match. And then I'm going to add more text. So this will add text here, but I want to format it to be about the same text that I'm using in the rest of my pin. And if I don't know what this font is, all I have to do is click on it and look up here, and it will tell me which font they were using in this template. So then I can go here and select that, and I can say fast, easy, and healthy. Fast, easy, and healthy. Okay, so then when I'm happy with my pin, I again will change the name here. This will be Smoothie Bowl Recipe Pinterest Graphic. Done, save, and then again I can download in whatever format I would like. So that's just kind of taking one of the layouts that Canva has created for you and editing it because you like some of the elements of it, but you're not going to keep them all because you need to tailor it to make it your own. So I would suggest that if you create a free Canva account, come in and just start creating designs, start using the Canva layouts and playing around with them, group and ungroup things, add some elements, fill in some images, upload some things, and play around, because that's the best way that you're going to get comfortable and learn how to use Canva. So now you know the basics. And if you wanted to create an image that isn't one of these standard sizes, all you're going to do is click this Use Custom Dimensions box here and put in the width and height that you would like of your image and click Design, and that will create a blank canvas in that size. It doesn't have to be one of these preset sizes. So again, come in, click Create a Design, play around with it, and if you have any questions, always feel free to email me at jessica@onmoxieandmotherhood.com. Thanks, guys.